There's no shortage of weird or bad people on the internet, and as time goes on, the problem's really only going to get worse. But there are two people, two special cases that really stick to my head as real scum of the earth. And I want to talk about them because they perfectly showcase how fucking far depravity can go. The first person that I want to talk about is William Bill J. Clark, aka WereFox49, aka Shadow Wolf, aka Shadow Luna, whatever the fuck, like the 100 different names he goes by on Fur Affinity. This guy is an absolute freak, and no one really knows if he's still alive to this day since he'd be 70 at the time that I'm making this video, but oh my god. Before I tell you what his main claim for fame is, this is a man who is a self-admitted zoophile and a pedophile, so two wrongs definitely don't make a right in this scenario, but the third thing is just even crazier. He is the creator of the furry goon suit, and if you don't know why it's called that, it's because he was a furry, and he liked making fursuits. But what he did was a little bit extra special, because he made fursuits from different types of plushies that he used to pleasure himself with. So after he would be done doing the deed with the plushies, he would get them from fucking Goodwill and other places, he would then tear the plushies apart and use them to make his fursuit. And that's how you can tell, when you look at the fursuit here, it does look pretty mangled up and disgruntled because it's used from different parts of different plushies. And it was said that that fursuit smelled so bad that it could clear out an entire furry convention, and I honestly do not doubt it. The second person I want to talk about is Meowba, and even saying that name feels wrong and disgusting to hear come out my lips, but I'd argue she isn't as bad as the first guy, although still a horrible person. She was initially a PNG tuber, and if you don't know what that is, it's just like people who do Minecraft parkour and have their little drawn avatar move their mouth up and down so it looks like they're talking. It's a PNG of their character. And back in 2022, 2023, they were extremely popular. If you had a voice with even an inkling of estrogen in it and were willing to subject yourself to the fans of PNG tubers, then you could also become a successful PNG tuber. But what she did that really made her stand out is that when Technoblade died, she saw an opportunity to popularize her brand per se. So what did she decide to do? Well, she's a very talented artist. How did she put these skills to use? She drew fan art of her PNG having sex with Technoblade's dead body. Like his Minecraft avatar is dead. And it's just her fucking it. So definitely a bad person. And what boggles my mind even more is that she's still active and posting to this day, albeit not porn. It's just little her PNG animations with whatever song is trending. But still, I'm never gonna forget that. I don't think it's anything that anyone should ever be able to live down. That should be illegal. That's necrophilia with a beloved YouTuber too. Fuck, man. There's a lot of things that I struggle to get my head around. Calculus, how we went from sticks and stones to Bluetooth. Why English teachers insist on glazing Shakespeare when all of his works are the most sleep-inducing pieces of literature that I've ever read. But something I started thinking about that really boggled my mind? How does bottom surgery work? And I'm more so talking about the procedure that trans men go through when they get to choose their own penis. That is the most mind-boggling and fascinating topic that I have not been able to stop thinking about. Because there's layers to this shit, right? Number one, how do you even get a penis? Are there dick donors? Are there people that are organ donors and they just chop off their willies so they can put it on a trans guy? How does that work? And the second thing that confused me was, does the penis need to be compatible to you, like how a kidney needs to be compatible for it to be a successful transplant? Does the dick have to choose you on some Excalibur shit? How does that work? Can you mix and match like this shit is Skylander Swap Force? Are you just allowed to combine two different pieces to get the best of both worlds? Because if you're paying for it, right? It's not like bottom surgery is a cheap thing to do. You don't just go get it on a whim. That's a pretty big financial investment in yourself. I'm imagining you get to choose, right? I'd hope so. And what about the people in med school or residency? Are they taking any classes that teach them how to attach penises onto people who want to transition? Or is that a thing that you kind of learn on a whim? Regardless, I don't think I'll ever know, but all I do know is, fuck it, bro, maybe one day I'll do it, and I'll fucking buy a bionic penis with glow-in-the-dark settings, and we'll just go from there.
People who still use Snapchat in this day and age are genuinely funny to me, because what the fuck do you mean you're 18 years old using the half-swipe method on the hose? Because realistically, once you're past the age of 16, what the fuck do you need to be doing on Snapchat? And if you tell me that you like to scroll through the little auto-generated Snapchat stories, you're a drone. I guess some people use it for streaks, but now that TikTok has that, why the fuck would you be on Snapchat? I think a good rule of thumb is once you graduate high school, your Snapchat account just gets deleted from existence. Because if you really want to push it, okay, you can be a senior and use Snapchat. You're technically still in high school, you're a teenager. But after that, yeah, bro, it's time to let it go.
What the fuck is the lion even about? You motherfuckers ruined lions for me. I can't even walk past an exhibit at the zoo without thinking of those dumbass slides. And I watched this joke evolve in real time. It all started with the quote, "The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep." That was the OG, that was the genesis. And then it went to the lion molests everything it sees. And then it went to what the lion does to the small dog. And then they just turned the lion into a fucking criminal. And maybe, just maybe, those types of jokes should not be encouraged. Black people always compliment my hair. And I don't mean always, as in every single day that I walk out the house, I'm showered in compliments, but to get compliments from strangers, it's a very rare thing. And I don't think there's been a period of longer than 3 or 4 months where I've gone just walking around the street out and about, and a black person compliments my hair. And the more that I think about it, they're the only ones that truly appreciate curly hair, probably because they have it themselves, and they know how much of a pain in the ass it is to maintain this shit. But it doesn't matter what condition my hair is in, I received a compliment regardless of what it looks like. I remember one time there was a big ass hurricane that hit Texas, and I forgot what it was called, but it knocked out the power in my entire neighborhood. So we were just chilling at a hotel, and I hadn't gotten the chance to do my hair in 4 or 5 days. It was a long time. I was walking around looking like a giant microphone, and even then, I was at a Five Guys, and this black lady stopped me, and she was like, "I love your hair. What do you do with it?" And I'm like, "Oh, It's just a byproduct of not being able to shower for a week. Or today could be another example. I need to go to a CVS to take some passport pictures. So I put on something that I don't usually wear, and I do my hair. I'm walking over there, and before I even walk in the store, this black lady who's walking out of her car stopped me to tell me that she loves my hair. And it reminds her of one of her ex-boyfriends or something. I was like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. I walk inside the store. I'm taking my picture, and the employee who's taking my photo tells me, damn, bro, how long have you been growing your hair? It's long as hell. And I'm like, oh, it's been a couple months since I had my last haircut. And he tells me, damn, that's cool as shit. I like your hair. And I'm like, hey, appreciate it. And as I'm walking out the store and back to my car, this random black dude, I don't think he was homeless, but he like smelled really, really, like he reeked of alcohol and cigarettes. He stops me, and he's like, damn, is that your real hair? And I'm like, yup, you know, it's no wig here. And he's like, yo, that's fucking cool, bro. It's like a poodle. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, I like poodles. Poodles are cool. I'll take the compliment. And then he just starts like touching my hair. And at this point, I'm just like, all right, what are we doing? And out of all the things that I could have done in that scenario, I think I did the stupidest thing. I just started touching him back. So we were standing there like two cavemen just patting each other's heads. And I was like, hey, bro, thank you. And he was like, yeah, man, have a good day. And then I just left. But what I'm trying to say is, moral of the story, to all my black people out there, fucking love y'all. Nostalgia is a powerful emotion. It'll make you look at things with rose-tinted glasses and remember them in a much better way than they once were. And yesterday, I was a victim of nostalgia, and I'm so disappointed. Pizza Hut brought back their Cheesy Bites pizza, which hasn't been on the menu for a very, very long time. I don't know how many years it's fucking been, but as soon as I saw that announcement, bro, that shit was like my Moby Dick. I needed to catch it, no matter what. I needed to eat this pizza again, because it's been so long since I ate it and I liked it so much. Every single memory that I ever had of eating the Cheesy Bites pizza from Pizza Hut was the equivalent to the average scene in Food Wars where the motherfuckers take a bite of the food and start coming all over the place. So I download the Pizza Hut app and try to order it online so I can go pick it up at the store. And side tangent here, the Pizza Hut app has got to be one of the least well-made, poorly optimized piece of shit softwares that I've ever had the displeasure of using. But after jumping through some hoops and hurdles, I ordered not one, but 2 Cheesy Bites pizzas from Pizza Hut. And my mouth was watering. I was thinking to myself, oh my god, this is gonna be so good. I'm about to be eating like a king. I pull up to the store, I'm so happy, I'm chopping it up with the lady that works there. We're laughing, we're smiling, we're giggling. She tells me what her favorite sauce flavors are, and I tell her, man, you know me, I gotta try that now. I tell her to have a great day, and I walk out that store with a smile on my face, with some pep in my step. I'm practically skipping back to the car. And as soon as I took a bite out of that pizza, I remembered why I hadn't eaten Pizza Hut anytime soon in recent memory. Pizza Hut basically tastes like school lunch that you had to pay for. The dough was raw as shit, they put a metric fuck ton of sauce on the pizza, and the toppings were rationed. These motherfuckers were counting the toppings like it was the last pizza that they were ever gonna make. It was so ass. And the only saving grace of the meal were the Cheesy Bites that were the crust of the pizza. But at the same time, should I really have paid $34 for a glorified version of mozzarella sticks that I could have just gotten for $5 at a supermarket? Probably not. Moral of the story, I was blinded by nostalgia, and I am extremely disappointed to realize that the Cheesy Bites pizza from Pizza Hut is not the angelic, euphoric, end-all be-all best pizza that I've ever tried. And, you know, it hurts to realize that.
I truly do feel sorry for the movie theater workers that had the unfortunate fate of working on the same day as the Minecraft premiere. And this logic applies to working a shift during the same time that any big movie releases, a new Avengers movie, a new Spider-Verse movie, the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, or in this case, the Minecraft movie. Because those guys are fighting on the front lines. There's gonna be a motherfucker that says, water bucket, go!
And then he just takes a massive shit on the floor.
Or if someone activates a redstone piston and it just shoves a
Vibrator up their ass.
All I'm saying is they are not getting paid enough to deal with what they're gonna deal with tomorrow, and, you know, my prayers go out to them.
I just finished watching the Minecraft movie, and oh my god, that shit sucked. But I did take notes on it, and I do want to give it a review, so I guess that's what we're gonna do. And obviously, huge spoiler warnings for the Minecraft movie. We're gonna spoil the whole fucking thing, so if you don't want to know what happened, now's your chance to click off the video. I don't want to be a negative Nancy, so I'm gonna get into the good first, what I think they did right. Number one, Jason Momoa and Jack Black is an absolute match made in heaven, and their chemistry within the movie really shows, and it's extremely enjoyable to watch as a viewer. I absolutely adore Jason Momoa's character of the lovable idiot musclehead who needs to make ends meet because his glory days are over. And although his character is pretty one-sided and not very complex, he's still very enjoyable to watch. Jack Black does what he does best, and that's comedy. He's the absolute star of every scene, and he turned the movie from a piece of shit. He grabbed that shit and molded it into ghetto gold. Because, truth be told, without him in the movie, it would have been horrendous. The CGI in the movie is also a lot better than I thought it would be. I was thinking it was going to be a lot worse and more noticeable, but it pleasantly surprised me because overall the quality of the movie itself is good. Now let's get into the bad. Number one, the characterization of every single main character in the movie is absolute dog shit, besides Steve, because he somewhat gets a background. Everyone else is sort of just there. The characters are so bland and forgettable that you genuinely will not remember their names once you walk out of the movie. The only characters that will stick in your mind are Garrett and Steve. That's it. The characters are very poorly introduced, if introduced at all, and the side story with the vice principal and the villager dating literally adds nothing, and it's just there to pad for time. A lot of the jokes in this movie do not land, but I will preface this by saying this movie was made for children, and I am a grown man, so maybe the jokes just weren't made for me. For it being the Minecraft movie, the amount of missed opportunities that there was in relation to Minecraft's mechanics is really disappointing. Not once was a shield used, we never saw anyone use a bow besides some of the enemies. We did see an MLG water bucket be used one time on screen and one time off screen, but the amount of little nuances that they missed with Minecraft as a whole, which they could have included either in the combat or in some sort of scene, is kind of disappointing. We didn't see any use of Totem of Undying. We did not see a shield be used once. We did not see any sort of speed bridging, which would have really come in handy in some of the scenes. We did not see anyone place an end crystal on top of someone and immediately explode them to insta-kill them. We did not see a lot of things, which is a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, you know, what are they going to do, right? They're trying to make money. It's a movie marketed towards children. I'm sure they weren't thinking that deep into it. Some of the music used in the fight scenes is genuinely laughable. It sounds like they just got the free CapCut audio that's non-copyright and called it a day, because some of the songs for the fight scenes don't even match the vibe at all, and it's there just to be there. The only scene, in my opinion, which had good music was the Ghast chase scene, when the Ghasts were chasing Steve and Henry in the sky. That scene had really dope-ass music, and it was good. There was a single adult joke that was mentioned in the movie that kind of made me chuckle. One of the characters is using a Ghast as a hot air balloon, and he finds out that if you touch its tentacles, it'll shoot a fireball. Another character asked him, "How did you find that out?" And he says, don't ask me how I found out. So I thought that was pretty funny, you know? What kind of freaky shit was he doing with the Ghast? The ending was a little bit lame, but it was your usual run-of-the-mill children's good ending where everyone ends up doing something good and everyone's happy and we beat the bad guys, the end. In conclusion, the Minecraft movie is very obviously geared towards children, who would have thought? And if you are above the age of 15, a lot of the comedy might not land with you. Does that mean that the movie is inherently bad? No. I'd chalk that up to the writing and acting, which are a little bit anticlimactic and boring at times. But I will say, it's one of those movies, in my opinion, which is so bad it's good. Like, it's bad, but it's bad on the level that it's enjoyable. And for a first time watch, I genuinely think people will enjoy it, especially if you grew up with Minecraft. The amount of references that you're going to see are going to be enjoyable. And side tangent here, there was a Dan TDM cameo for like 2 seconds. That was cool. There was a Technoblade cameo, rest in peace. That was cool. And that was basically it. And there was also a post-credit scene where Steve met Alex. That was cool. But with all that being said, I would give the movie a solid 5 out of 10. Nothing special. It didn't blow my socks off. But it gets the job done, and it is the Minecraft movie. So if you didn't watch it, what are you doing?
If Sinners has taught me anything, it's that music has a way to speak to the soul, and you form emotional ties with the songs that you listen to, whether that's a happy emotion, a sad one, melancholy, dread, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, songs are stories that you carry with you. And one of the biggest forms of betrayal is finding out that a song that you once loved to listen to, and you would be jamming to that shit daily, is sang by a pedophile. And one of the worst parts about finding out that a song that you liked was sang by a pedophile is that it shatters the illusion of what you thought that song meant. Those same words that you once listened to on repeat over and over again start to take a whole new meaning for the worse. The first example I'm going to use is one that hits close to home because I was absolutely distraught when I found this out, and it is the Orion experience. The frontman for the band, Orion Saprini, was allegedly texting his fans who were minors. And although there's multiple screenshots of proof of the stuff that he would say to them, and it was very creepy, I do say allegedly because he's not a convicted felon. He just likes talking to people that aren't 18. I don't know how more obvious I can make it. The man likes children. Obsessed with You, which is a song on the album Cosmic Candy, starts to feel very, very reminiscent of a man spying on his prey rather than a man who's in love with a woman. I know just where you went to school. I know the names of all your friends. You know, could that be because they went to school together? No, it's because he likes high schoolers. Next up, we have R. Kelly, and boy, oh boy, does this man have a history with not liking people over the age of 18. I'm sure you guys all know about the things he likes to do with 15-year-old girls, and when you look back at his songs, even songs that he didn't make, songs that he wrote, age ain't nothing but a number. A song for 15-year-old Aaliyah to sing. What, like, now we know what he meant by that, right? He wasn't just ghostwriting, no, he was putting his heart and soul into that song. And when you listen to music that he himself sang, like Bump and Grind, the very first lines of that song, my mind is telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Now we know exactly what he meant by that. And when I bring up topics like this, people will hit me with the age-old argument, and here's my rebuttal to that. In this very hyper-specific scenario, where the singers for these songs have been known to like people that are a little bit on the younger side, it's very hard to justify still listening to them and enjoying them, because whether you like it or not, songs don't exist in a vacuum, and artistic expression is never neutral. These songs are just echoing thoughts that the singer had. These songs represent that singer, and when you listen back to them, and you take into account their actions, and you add them up with the lyrics that they're singing, things are no longer as enjoyable as they once were. That's it from me, but man, am I still heartbroken about the Cult of Dionysus. I fucking love those dudes. Keyword is loved. I don't like pedophiles. Yup, devil couldn't reach me, so he made me addicted to jerking off during Zootopia. That's how stupid a lot of the people who do the devil couldn't reach me trend sound to me, and I kinda don't even want to make this video just because I saw like 5 other people do it already, so I don't feel special, but I don't fucking care, I'm doing it anyway. And that entire phrase is just so funny to me, because it's just people who do stupid things, and they don't want to admit that they did something stupid. Here's a good rule of thumb: the devil did not make you fat, The devil did not make you lazy. The devil did not force you to cheat on someone. The devil did not make you hurt anyone. No, no, no. If you do something that you deem to be bad, I have some bad news. I don't think the devil did that. Because the truth is, the devil has bigger fish to fry than to make you do something stupid, like making all my new favorite artists pedophiles after I start listening to them. And you know, it's not like we don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I'm not going to act holier than thou and say that I've never made a mistake. Here's a little fun fact. When I was first learning how to drive, I didn't know what my left and right was. I kind of had to learn that shit on the fly. So I thought the brake was the accelerator and vice versa. And when I was first like driving around and learning how to maneuver a car, yeah, I almost killed my dad at least 7 times. Like, it got to the point where he had his hand on the door handle, ready to fucking James Bond jump out the car on my shit and just leave me to explode. And to be honest, I can't blame. I don't know if this is a bad take or if I'm just simply too old to enjoy the whimsical and fun nature of going to a movie theater full of other people, but I feel like manners don't exist anymore. And by manners, I mean movie theater etiquette more specifically, because when you go to a movie theater, keep in mind that it is public, meaning that it is not just you and your homeboys at the movie theater. No, no, no. You need to be mindful of the entire packed theater that you are with. When I went to watch the Minecraft movie, I knew that there was going to be the inevitable people who, you know, say a couple lines, crack a couple jokes, maybe they'll clap at the end of the movie. I was wrong. And you know why I was wrong? Not because there wasn't any people doing that. No, no, no. It's because that shit was cranked up times 10. After every single one-liner, the entire row of middle school boys right in front of me would start hollering, screaming, repeating it, clapping, and jumping in the air all at the same time. And this happened at least 12 times that I kept count. I lost count after a while. But, you know, the first time, it was a little cringy, but like, okay, haha, it was funny, we had our laugh. The second time, I was like, oh, okay, there's no way they're gonna do this the whole movie, right? After the third time, I knew that I just paid $25 to experience secondhand embarrassment for 90 minutes. Why are we giving a standing ovation for Jack Black tickling his nutsack? I get it, he's a great actor, he's funny, he's Steve, we all love him, but you don't need to clap after every minute thing that happens in the movie. The amount of times that I heard, chicken jockey, creeper, aw man, say the line, would genuinely put someone into cardiac arrest. And if it's not strangers, it'll be your own friends. Because while we were watching the ads before the movie started, an ad for Wendy's played where they were advertising their $5 meal deal. Why the fuck does my homeboy Jermaine, who's sitting next to me, start salivating at the mouth and scream, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about? And everyone turns around and looks at us. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would have enjoyed the movie more if there wasn't a group of people half my age doing emotes after every single scene, but I digress. And then at the end of the movie, while we were waiting for the post-credit scene, an entire fucking school bus of children go to the front of the screen so they can play with the movie theater. Like, you know the little lights? They like put their hands on it. And then they start like running around and playing tag and tackling each other. Guys, we are in the theater. This is not a school field trip. I guess what I want to end this video off with is, I don't know if I'm overreacting and this video comes off more as, you know, old man shakes cane at Cloud because he's angry type thing, but I really feel like the bare minimum for going to the movies is to just not be obnoxious. I don't think this is a crazy hot take, or maybe it is, you know, maybe I'm just too old to enjoy saying chicken jockey for 90 minutes and having the entire theater applaud. That might just be.
Are you as proud of our president as I am? This guy.
Genuinely, what the fuck are we selling? Regardless of where you stand on the political spectrum, these are just fucking ugly. You're telling me you're gonna pull up to school wearing the MAGA steppers, the subpoena slides, the bankruptcy fours? That last name is a little play on words because he actually did declare bankruptcy 4 times throughout his career. But this is yet another example of how the TikTok shop sells the most absolutely horrendous dog shit products, the corniest pieces of merchandise that you can possibly think of, and people will still buy it. I looked at the sales and almost 2,000 people bought that shit. Those are genuine drones. And you know how I knew the video was cooked? When the shares were damn near triple the likes. You know what that means? People are making fun of you. This is going in my Hall of Fame for corniest TikTok shop products to ever exist. Up there with the mustard shirt of Kendrick screaming, but it's in the Charlie Brown version, and literally anything by Has Been Hotel. I would have more fun going to school with rusty nails strapped to my feet than wearing that shit.
This song came on my For You page and it deadass activated the floodgates to a bunch of memories I forgot I had. I remember watching this shit in like 2020, 2019, I forgot how long ago it was. It was me, my sister, and my mom. They would always put that shit on the TV and I could never change it, so I would just watch it with them. Bro, oh my god. Like, listening to this again, bro, if I'm about to... This song came on my For You page and it deadass activated the floodgates to a bunch of memories I forgot I had. I remember watching this shit in like 2020, 2019, I forgot how long ago it was. It was me, my sister, and my mom. They would always put that shit on the TV and I could never change it, so I would just watch it with them. Bro, oh my god. Like, listening to this again, bro, if I'm about to...
What is moral purity? In the case that I'll be discussing, it's when an audience expects their favorite movie, TV show, video game, book to be completely morally correct and for all of the characters to reflect modern day societal standards. And I think that's an incredibly stupid thing to ask for because at its core, any form of storytelling is a reflection of the human experience, and humans are inherently bad. Humans are imperfect and flawed in more ways than one. Things like violence, murder, sexual assault, racism, sexism are all very real things which still happen in our world. And just because a form of media happens to have it inside of their world does not mean that they endorse those behaviors. Rather, they serve to explore consequences and shed light on how bad those things can be. Ultimately, demanding that all forms of media be morally correct and justifiable completely kills the purpose of storytelling because it limits the scope of the art into what you think is correct instead of what the cold, harsh, and emotional truth is. If you want a story that entertains you, challenges your beliefs, and invokes emotion within you, then the fact of the matter is you're going to have to learn to sit with the discomfort of certain themes and acknowledge the fact that not all stories are made to affirm your beliefs. Some are there to challenge them, and some are there to show you things that you've never even thought of before. With that being said, I definitely think that moral purity should be used on a case-by-case basis because the way that some people handle a topic is a lot better than how other people do it. We're going to use the topic of sexual assault, and spoilers for Invincible, if you haven't caught up on the comics or the show doesn't even have the scene yet, so if you don't want to get spoiled, click off the video. In volume 110 of Invincible, our main character Mark gets raped by Anissa, he gets sexually assaulted by a woman, and he is completely powerless to stop it. And this is one of the most disturbing and gut-wrenching scenes that this comic book has ever had, and for good reason. We're watching our main character, a man who's supposed to be invincible, a man who has superpowers, the traditional superhero, be sexually assaulted against his will. But we have to ask ourselves why the writers chose to add this into their own series, and that's where social critique comes in. The power of that scene doesn't lie in its shock value for the audience, it's in how it confronts one of the most underrepresented topics in fiction, male sexual assault. It subverts gender expectations by having a woman, Anissa, be the aggressor against Mark, and not only that, she completely overpowers him. And after Anissa has her way with him, we don't see Mark be triggered by a burst of rage or a sudden power-up that lets him fight back and defend his honor in the traditional male sense. No, he is on the ground crying. We see him sobbing, trying to process what just happened to him, and that exact discomfort that he feels reflects on how trauma can affect even the most powerful. And this moment does not define Mark as a character. Although he is traumatized by it and he carries that grief with him throughout the rest of the show, it deepens his character in an extremely painful way, because it shows us, the audience, that power does not make you immune to violation or vulnerability. And it really pissed me off how Anissa never really had to face the consequences of her actions. Even towards later in the series, her character development sort of happens off screen, and they try to redeem her by just saying, yeah, I'm not a rapist anymore, bro, trust me. In my opinion, that really grinded my gears, that really pissed me off. But the more that I thought about it, I realized that this decision was deliberate. The point of keeping Anissa's character in the show, despite what she did to Mark, despite the fact that she very well does deserve to die, is to signify to the audience that trauma and sexual assault are not clean, they are not satisfying, and they are not resolved. Much like trauma in real life, sometimes it doesn't end with clarity or justice. It just is. And as uncomfortable as that scene is, I can acknowledge that its presence in the comic books is very deliberate because it opens up a discussion about a topic which is never seen in superhero media, male sexual assault. That entire scene is one of the rawest, most uncomfortable forms of storytelling, and that's what gives it its impact on the narrative. Now I'd like to give you an example of sexual assault being used in one of the most vile, heinous, and disgusting ways that I've ever seen, and that is in the video game that came out very recently, No Mercy. It's an adult visual novel type game in which you are the main character, a man who goes around raping women. And why do you do it? Well, in the game's exact words, it's because that's all they ever want and you should never take no for an answer. And throughout the entire game, you're just sexually assaulting any woman you come across, and that includes your own mother and your aunt. The entire game is just an incest and rape fetish paraded around as a video game, and I don't think I need to tell you why this is harmful, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Although the actions that are happening in the game are virtual, it still serves to desensitize younger audiences to horrible things like rape and sexual assault against women, which probably shouldn't do. And like I said, although what happens in the game isn't real, the implications of what someone could take away from that game are extremely real and extremely dangerous. This game doesn't use sexual assault as a means of telling a narrative or providing social commentary. It is literally just there to pander to the creator's rape fetish and incest fetish. And moral purity should 110% be applied to situations like this, because this is just completely wrong and should not be allowed to exist. This video went on for a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but that's it for me. If you build 100 bridges and suck one penis, are you a bridge builder or a dick sucker? I heard that phrase recently and it really got me thinking, wow, if you ever become a sex worker, it will overshadow any accomplishments that you've ever done in your life, both past, present, and future. That shit will just permanently taint your career, for better or for worse. I really don't see a scenario where you could ever successfully pivot from being an adult content creator to rebranding yourself as anything else. Because once you do that, you kind of cross the point of no return. A great example of this would be Mia Khalifa. I saw a video of a guy interviewing her, and they were on the beach. He told her, what do you do for a living? And she says that she's a jewelry designer. And they didn't even let her finish her fucking sentence because the rest of the clip was just like a compilation of dudes doing this. And that situation is case in point as to why being a porn star or any sort of adult content creator sex worker is something that you can never live down. And once you do it, you cross that bridge where that is just you forever. And I don't mean that in a rude or dehumanizing way. Obviously, sex workers are people too, and anyone that disagrees lacks fucking basic human empathy. But what I'm trying to say is that line of work will permanently alter your public perception in a way that can never be changed. It's just one of those things that's always going to happen and will always stay like that. When you think of Johnny Sins, you don't think of him by his real name, you only remember him by his stage name, because that's all his existence boils down to. And as crude as that sounds, I really do think that is the truth. If you ever become a sex worker, I don't think it's humanly possible to rebrand yourself as anything that isn't not safe for work. That is just your permanent legacy now. And I really don't think there's anything that you can do. You could fucking get a Nobel Peace Prize, solve world hunger, and be the first to colonize Mars, and people would still be showing you your old clips of you butt-ass naked. So, I don't know, man. Now that graduation is on the horizon, I'm talking to my friends and finding out what they want to do when they grow up, obviously, if they're going to go to college or if they're going to go into trade school, and they're giving me all these really basic, boring-ass answers like, oh, I want to be a dentist, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, so I can be a public defender and help injustices and human rights law, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, we don't need more of you motherfuckers. The world does not need more orthodontists, teachers, plumbers, electricians, dentists, or anything of the sort. You know what we really do need? We need more professions that genuinely uphold our society, the backbones of how we have our modern civilization to this day. And what is that? I want more day traders, more crypto bros, more people who start their own overpriced clothing business, and we especially need more guys to start podcasts about being alpha males while also selling their course. I want more OnlyFans models, tarot card readers, and lifestyle influencers, because I think if we really incorporated more of those into our society, we would really advance to places a lot faster. Fuck studying astrophysics so you can go to NASA. You know how faster we would have been to Mars if we had more Reddit moderators in this world? Fuck, dude, we would have been there ages ago. And to anyone watching this video, may we all become day traders, dropshippers, or Starbucks baristas, preferably the third option. The phrase, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, fucking horrifies me, because I'm friends with some bad people. Albeit, I'm also friends with a lot of good people, so it kind of like balances out on some yin and yang shit, but still, I really hope that saying doesn't ring true. I have a homeboy who lost his virginity because he fucked a girl in the school restrooms and then proceeded to get caught, and the pictures are still up to this day. And just imagining a future where my life is even a quarter as bleak as that, fucking horrifying. My homeboy Jermaine is just big and greedy, and I have no doubt in my mind that he'd backdoor me for a honey bun. But he's also pretty smart and like highly educated, so I honestly wouldn't mind being him. But some of my other friends, oh my god. I do have some friends who got full rides into very good like tier 20 schools. I remember one of my homegirls, she discovered like a cure for some type of boob cancer and like a strand of it, and that just like landed her a full ride to college, which I'd imagine so, right? I have this other homeboy who got caught trying to have sex with this girl from our school, and the worst part is, he was flirting with her through Discord DMs, and she leaked the Discord DMs, and it was some of the corniest, most chronically online shit that I've ever seen, and it genuinely hurt to read. I never want my life to go like that. Also, this is for all the people who are on my dick about me not opening my eyes enough. Guess what? My eyes aren't naturally like this. You know how they are naturally? They droop down a little. Shocking revelation, I know. How hard is it to not like children as an adult? It cannot be this hard. I recently discovered this band called the Orion Experience, and man, are they good at making music. I was binging their albums like a meth addict. I couldn't stop every single song. Fucking Obsessed With You, Cult of Dionysus, Adrienne, No Love in February, Sexy Dynamite. So good, it was so good. And today, one of my friends told me a very important tidbit of information that I did not know about this band. The lead singer is a pedophile. How could you do this to me? And more importantly, how could you do that to 14-year-old girls? If you don't know what I'm talking about, allegedly, Orion Saprini, whatever the fuck his name is, the lead singer for the band, has been texting minors, teenagers. Ever since his songs and his band blew up, he's been using his platform to connect with fans online, and let's just say he's connecting a little too much. And there's already been like 14 victims that came out saying their story, testifying against them. And besides that, there's already fucking screenshots and proof of the weird shit that he says to fucking victims as young as the age of 14. And I'm just thinking, fuck, man, now I can't listen to him. And I know the phrase separate the art from the artist is commonly used in situations like this, but the thing about that is that it's sort of unethical to be listening to music that's directly funding a pedophile. I don't want to give him my streaming revenue from the songs that I listen to, and the only ethical way to listen to his music now would be to pirate it and listen to it offline so he doesn't get any money from the streams. I'm not doing all that. It really is disheartening when someone that you fuck with becomes a pedophile. In this case, artists that I was listening to, and fuck, dude, fuck. I even analyzed like 2 of their songs. They wrote some really good music, and now it's just not the same. Finding good shit to repost is really a lost art form, because nowadays I see motherfuckers repost anything willy-nilly, fucking repost demons, and I think that defeats the point of a repost. A real good repost are the ones that have under 10,000 likes and are about some really niche joke or community that you're a part of, and those are like fucking 10 out of 10. Like finding underground shit to repost that none of your other friends have already reposted. You know, it's like when a dog pisses on a fire hydrant. You're claiming your territory, and boy does it feel good. Sometimes you'll repost something and it'll go from like 5k likes when you first saw it to 100,000, and now you're like, damn, my shit went mainstream. Like, it's not underrated anymore. But what really makes me happy, the reposts that I love the most, are the ones that I repost when they're at like 8k likes, and then I check back the next day and they're still there, so they stayed underground. Those reposts are only for the select few, you know, the chosen ones that are funny enough to receive that on their For You page. Now, I'm not saying if you repost something that has like 1 million likes, you're wrong or stupid for reposting it. But once it's too mainstream, it kind of defeats the purpose of a repost, in my opinion. It's sort of like saying that you listen to Harry Styles with that one like elevator song music that plays in every Target commercial. You can like the song. In fact, it's not a bad song. It's pretty pleasing to the ear. But it's such a safe choice that I'm not that impressed if you tell me that it's one of your favorites. Nintendo is the only company that I know which can stomp on your nutsack until it turns into a pile of Orbeez, then make you get on all fours and beg for it to happen again, while simultaneously siphoning money out of your wallet. The best way that I can describe Nintendo's relationship with their consumers is in the same way that a findom has a relationship with her pay-pig. And if you don't know what findoms are, it's just women who specialize in being financial dominatrixes, and basically they just get men who will give them money for just existing. Like the guys will pull up in real life, get on all fours, and beg and plead to give her $500 and like kneel to her, and it's just the whole thing. And man, if I was a girl, bro, oh my god, you do not know how much I would be abusing that method. And I really think that me as a girl would have been bad as shit. But we're getting off topic. $500 for the Nintendo Switch 2 is already kind of egregious, but you could chalk that up to it being a next generation console. Even then, the Nintendo Switch 1 was $300, so this is definitely a considerable markup. But again, it is a next generation of the Nintendo consoles, so maybe you can let it slide. But $90 for a singular game? Damn near $100 for one game? That shit better tickle my urethra every time I open the box. What do you mean $90? And the worst part is, these motherfuckers know they can get away with it because of how important they are to the gaming industry. Those dudes own some of the most iconic characters in all of media. We have Mario, Zelda and Link, Donkey Kong, Isabelle, the entire fucking Pokemon franchise. These dudes cannot be stopped. And it's definitely sad to see Nintendo become more and more anti-consumer and greedy as time goes on. But what's arguably worse than that is the precedent that they're setting by making their games $90. That means that the competition is going to be seeing what they're doing, that they're getting away with it, and think to themselves, maybe we're not squeezing their money out fast enough. Let's make our games $100. And then by the time that I have kids, I'm going to be shelling out $300 for a singular DLC. Oh my. These are my top 3 worst internet apologies, and before we start it off, I just want to make it clear this is my list. So my list might be different from yours. It's subjective, but let's get started. Coming in at number 3, we have my apology video from Cuzzo Worst. This is a recent one. If you're wondering what he did in order to warrant making an apology video, well, he put out a guide on how to rape women. He uploaded a TikTok titled How to Rape a Woman. And there was no punchline, there was no joke, he is just a fucking weirdo. And the reason that he gets number 3 instead of number 2 or number 1 is because he does something that the other 2 apologies don't do, and that's take accountability for his actions. He actually point blank says, I'm sorry for what I did do it, I will try to do better. And although you'd think that's the bare minimum, it's not. It gets much worse. Coming in at number 2, we have EDP's apology video for being a pedophile. And if you don't know what he did, well, he got caught trying to meet up with a 14-year-old girl, and his gotcha, his excuse as to why he was there, well, he was just there to pick up a cupcake and go home. But his entire apology video, you can barely even call it that because he doesn't apologize. He just says he takes full responsibility for the YouTube incident and tells his fans thank you for supporting me and then plugs his website. So it's less of an apology more so than it is a last-ditch attempt at trying to save whatever remnants he has left of a career because he is now outed as a pedophile. And coming in at number 1, what in my opinion is the worst apology of all time, has got to go to Sienna May's interpretive dance apology for sexually assaulting someone. Now, if you don't know what she did, she sexually assaulted a man, her at the time boyfriend, when he was, I don't know if he was like drunk or asleep or something, but he wasn't in the right state of mind. When she was trying to do some not very PG-13 things with him, and she got recorded, and rightfully so, no one fucking liked her. And what did she do in that video? Well, didn't really apologize too much, more so than she just said, we're young, we make mistakes, I'm taking a break off social media to get away from the negativity surrounding my platform. And that is just a really, really shitty excuse for an apology. You know, I'm a young person, I'm 18, and I know 18, in internet terms, is pretty old. That's maybe fucking fossil. Had a little trouble getting that one out. What I'm trying to say is, I'm 18, and although that's pretty old by internet standards, I'd like to think I'm young. And as a young person, I don't plan on sexually assaulting anyone. That's not in the cards for me. You know, when you're young, you make mistakes. You can fail a class, get in a car accident, get detention, date a girl who turns out to be a ladyboy from Thailand, and you commit to it for 3 years, but then don't tell anyone. We all go through those things. But what you don't do is sexually assault a man and then hide behind the excuse of, I'm young, I make mistakes. And then to really add insult to injury, you fucking hit an interpretive Fortnite dance to convey your feelings of sorrow and distress in such a really dire situation when you're being accused of crimes you did commit. But yeah, those are my top 3 worst internet apologies of all time. And if you think there are better ones, which there's plenty out there that are arguably worse, Miranda Singh's ukulele apology, definitely an honorable mention, but those are my 3 that I would rank as the worst. And that's it. I think this goes without saying, but not everything needs to be shared. There are some things that you can keep to yourself. Yes, there is in fact something as too much information. There are some things that you should never utter in real life because people will look at you differently. Because I will look at you differently. I'm in my English class and I sit all the way in the front. Tell me why the fuck I hear the dudes in the back talking about the character AI bots that they had sex with. Dudes were talking about which robots they traumatized like it was NBA highlights. Motherfucker, we do not need to be discussing this in class. There's a reason that you do that shit behind closed doors, because if you did it in public, it would be very weird. And by all means, if you want to have sex with your AI girlfriend, more power to you. Keep doing that. I'm not going to stop you. You're not hurting anyone. But you know when you are hurting someone? When you start discussing it out loud in public. Then you're hurting me. Then you're hurting my ears. They were comparing their e-sex DMs like it was MJ versus LeBron. This is not a debate that we need to have. This is completely unrelated to what I was just talking about, but unpopular opinions on the internet do not exist anymore. Motherfuckers will preface something with unpopular opinion and then have it be the most shallow, agreeable take of all time, and it pisses me off so much. If I tell you that Monster tastes like carbonated monkey piss, that's not an unpopular opinion, that's my opinion. Now, if someone like Kanye says that his unpopular opinion is hating Jewish people, I might need to dial back on that. Now that one, that really might be an unpopular opinion. Dare I say it, that might be a bad opinion. Maybe we shouldn't have that opinion. I've been starting to get more Quibble Cup comments about how I look like him, whether it's on here or on other platforms, what those other platforms are, those who know, but I don't see it. You know, I'll put a picture up on the screen right now, and yeah, maybe they do both compare us because of our toned physiques and muscular bodies. You know, I understand that. You know, I understand why they think we look like that, and they compare us. I get that. But I think people are more so leaning towards the facial features, and I don't know. I'll take the hairband off. I don't know. I don't see it. I personally don't see it. Maybe the hair. We kind of have the same hair. I'd say his hair is a lot kinkier than mine, though. It's like tighter curls. And I don't know. Maybe. But personally, I don't see the resemblance. Besides the physique, yeah. You know, if you want to group me in with him, I guess. I'm not going to stop you. You know, I like to be humble, so I wouldn't really, claim that physique as mine. But we're basically on the same level, so sure. I'll continue.
Here's a list of things I don't like, but I don't have enough to say about them to warrant a full video, so I'm just gonna combine them here. Number 1, the color yellow. It just doesn't look that cool. Any candy that is yellow usually doesn't taste good, and it reminds me of piss. Number 2, earbuds. I know the point of this is so other people know what you're listening to. What I didn't know is that people could still stalk your shit even if you didn't add them. I added a singular person on earbuds, but it still shows on your profile what your top listens are for the week. So I go to school and I got motherfuckers clowning me because I was listening to Apples to the Core and Babseed from the My Little Pony soundtrack. God forbid a man enjoys the whimsical power of friendship. Fuck you. Number 3, Shakespeare. I don't like his stories and I find them boring. And I know that he laid the groundwork for a lot of the themes that we see in modern literature today. And he also introduced 1,700 words into the English dictionary, which are still used to this day. But I just don't fucking like him. Has he ever done a money spread? Can he show me a band? No, he's a bump. Number 4, non-binary people who choose the name Kai. Nothing against non-binary people, and, you know, I won't call you by your dead name, but come on, bro. You had the option to change your name to anything in the world, and you chose the most overdone name in history, Kai? There's already a million non-binary Kais. The only valid Kai is the one from Ninjago. The rest of y'all are not original. I'm seeing a lot of people make fun of Ashton Hall and me, and I don't know why. It's probably because of our really extravagant lifestyles and unorthodox morning routines. But to those people, all that I have to say is, we're simply trying to help you. Through our example, we want you to set the building blocks, the foundation for building a better life for yourself, a better version of you. And, you know, believe it or not, we really were in the air for 4 minutes. Yes, me and the male G-spot being in the ass has got to be one of the most unfortunate evolutionary circumstances in all of humanity. Because what the fuck do you mean? The only way to use it is if you get fucked. Here's a hot take. I don't want anything going in my rectum. The chocolate starfish, the caboose. I really don't. And I know that there's gonna be people trying to tell me you don't actually have to do any of that, and you just have to buy a bidet, use a jet stream on the max setting and tilt it at a 45-degree angle so it hits your G-spot. And to that I say, what you're doing is very smart, but also very dangerous.
The phrase, "that stuff won't fly in blank," is a saying as old as time, and I really think it's one of the most common scare tactics that teachers will use in order to scare students into doing the right thing or behaving, because, truthfully, not only does that stuff fly in whatever grade level they were talking about, that shit soars. When I was in elementary school, they would tell me, oh, that type of stuff won't fly in middle school, and it did. When I was in middle school, they told me that type of stuff won't fly in high school. It really never rung true a single time. And when I was in high school, what did teachers love to say? Oh, you didn't do this assignment on time, you were late to class? That stuff won't fly in college. Every teacher would describe the grade level above them like it was some sort of night and day difference. Like we were getting shipped off to Vietnam and they were going to put chastities around our nutsacks. And I promise you, it is never even a quarter as bad as they say it's going to be. But what really got me thinking is when people say that stuff won't fly in college, I know that it definitely will, but I think the main difference between college and any other grade level is that this is the end. This is it. If you do not lock in college and at least have a plan for your future and your career in mind, then you're going to be ending up serving caramel frappuccinos at Starbucks for the rest of your life, along with the English majors and the art majors. Because college is really the last 4 years of hand-holding from the education system that you're ever going to get before you're thrust into the adult world head first. And, you can do whatever you want, but it's going to come at your expense. And if you don't take accountability, then you're fucked. Something that sucks about having curly hair is when you put time and effort and product into doing your hair, and, it looks halfway decent. I'm gonna have to say goodbye to this when I wake up. I'm gonna wake up looking like a giant microphone. I'm also getting a haircut tomorrow, but I'm not too worried about that. And you know why? Because a person cutting my hair is gay. If there's 2 things I know that I can trust gay people with in this world, it's baking and cutting hair. Those motherfuckers are all stars. I feel like the key to getting good, consistent haircuts if you have longer hair like mine is to just go to a salon. Don't go to a fucking barbershop, bro. I already learned my lesson the hard way. And so did my homeboy. My friend Oswald, he got a haircut recently. And I don't know where he went to, but it looks like that motherfucker walked into a sports clips and told him, let me get the Ruin My Life special. I don't know what they did to my boy, but they fucked him up. They were freestyling on his shit. He came out of that barbershop looking like a piece of modern art. Why does his hair have different biomes, textures, and levels depending on what area of his head you're looking at? It's supposed to be consistent. Another example of how barbershops will ruin your life if you have longer hair is my other friend who goes to this place called Habibi Cuts, and it is an Afghani/Latino barbershop. Yeah, every single time that motherfucker walks out of there, he has a skin fade. You can see the individual fat rolls on the back of his neck, and all he did was ask for a little off the top. But man, I am gonna miss this when I wake up tomorrow. Also off topic, for me, this is the perfect facial hair length. Not too long, but not too short. It's noticeable, but it doesn't fucking prick my skin every single time I touch it. I wish it could stay like this forever. That's why I shave. A lot of people are like begging me as to why I shave. Like, I hate having long facial hair. I think it's more of a texture thing. But moral of the story, gay people are goated at cutting hair and baking, and I'd say salons over barbershops. Usually it depends on your hair type. I'll say that. I'll never understand people who genuinely keep up with the lives of celebrities and keep up with celebrity drama like that shit is a second installment of the Bible. And I think you'll see the biggest offenders of this on platforms like Twitter, where levels of parasocial relationships are through the roof. But why the fuck do you care about what X celebrity said? To me, the people who dedicate their entire lives to being a fan of a celebrity or spending all of their free time defending a celebrity on the internet are the definition of drones. Genuine, like, soulless husks of people. Like, there's words coming out, but there's nothing really coming. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad with being attached to an online persona or personality, whether that's because you enjoy their content, they entertain you, they provide some sort of value to your life. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I've been watching Wolfie Plays for damn near 7 years, probably 7 years by now. I know that dude better than I know my own family. But just because I grew up watching his YouTube videos does not mean I'm gonna make that the focal point of my existence.